In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin chart. We're going to zoom out to see where we are currently at in terms of market cycle. If you were in the cryptocurrency market in 2021, there was this massive bearish divergence on the daily time frame that led to a correction, about approximately a 55% correction within the span of 100 days. On my right, we have the DXY, or the dollar index. Now, typically when the dollar index goes up, cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, does not do well. But if the dollar goes down, Bitcoin does well. When we look at the charts, what do we see? We see a higher high within the DXY, but we see a lower low on the RSI. So it's almost as if right now, what's happening with the DXY is echoing what happened with Bitcoin in 2021. Well, what does that mean? Well, this is not financial advice, but my expectations within the rest of 2022 is that the dollar may push up a little bit higher within maybe a few weeks, maybe even a month, but eventually it should have a correction down, just like we saw over here. For Bitcoin around this peak, it took about 100 days for Bitcoin to peak out and another 100 days to bottom out. Right now within the DXY from this top over here, it took about 115, 112 days. If we see the exact same thing play out, probably by the end of this year, the DXY could bottom out. So I know right now the entire market is extremely bearish. People think that the Bitcoin price is going to go lower, and it's very possible. But even if Bitcoin does drop down short term because the dollar index decides to push up a little bit higher, I do believe that eventually the DXY will top out and Bitcoin will do well. Now, I've shared this chart a couple times on my channel, but it's just an estimate, right? Just to get a feel for market momentum. I divided the charts up into 450 days. Red means bear market, yellow means relief rally, green means bull market. Now, obviously, we peaked out within the red zone, but eventually led to that bottom or that correction. Again, relief rally, bull market, correction. Now, I did the exact same thing with the DXY on my right, or the dollar index. We can see that while Bitcoin was in a bear market, dollar index was on a bull market. When Bitcoin was having a relief rally, DXY consolidated. We got a bull market, bear market on the dollar. While Bitcoin was in a bear market, the dollar index was having a bull market. Both were in the yellow zone consolidating. And as most of you know, in 2020, when Bitcoin went on its next bull run, the dollar index went on a bear market. Right now, the dollar index has been on an extremely crazy bull market. Why? Because Bitcoin has been in an extreme bear market. Now, if you zoom in within the month of September, Bitcoin and the DXY will be leaving the red zone and entering the yellow zone. What does that mean? It's very possible, one, Bitcoin will get a relief rally or trade sideways, and the DXY as well should cool down and calm down as well. During the yellow zone, one of two things can either happen, right? The dollar index can have a correction while Bitcoin has a relief rally, or, both charts can just trade sideways. How long? Probably a year. Right? I know nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that the chart is going to be boring and go sideways for an entire year. And I know right now everyone's saying we're in a bear market or recession and things will go lower, but the possibility of just the market trading sideways for an entire year is also considered a bear market. So don't think that the market has to go lower because we are already in a recession. In fact, everything may already be priced in. In fact, there was a time back in 2015 when Bitcoin entered this yellow zone and it relief rally approximately 250%. During that same time, the S&P 500 entered the yellow zone. It pretty much corrected down 11%, went back up, corrected another 15%, went back up, and by the time we left the yellow zone, the S&P 500 only went up around 2.7%. So when Bitcoin went up about 250%, the S&P 500 went up only 2.7% with a lot of pullbacks. There used to be this narrative that Bitcoin was an uncorrelated asset, meaning that Bitcoin would just sort of move on its own timing. It didn't matter what traditionals did, what the Nasdaq did, the S&P, the Dow. It didn't matter. The Bitcoin would just do its own thing. But in the last few years, Bitcoin was actually very correlated to the stock market. However the stock market performed, Bitcoin would pretty much react, right? If the S&P 500 went down like 2%, Bitcoin would go down 10%. So Bitcoin was just a much more extreme or much more volatile image of what the traditional markets did. But I believe that in this next market kind of season or cycle, that can be the next 3 months, or can it be a year, 2 years, Bitcoin will probably move up on its own, kind of recover on its own, while traditionals trade sideways. That's probably when we're going to see a bunch of headlines and news and videos on people talking about how Bitcoin is not correlated to the stock market, but it's probably just going to be this one moment, like the 1% moment, where it's uncorrelated for a while, and then it's going to be correlated again. If you grab the fractal from the Bitcoin bear market from 2014, 2015, and overlay with the current bear market, you'll actually see a lot of similarities. I mean, look how similar that is. In terms of of time frame, yeah, this correction happened a lot earlier than expected, but you can also shift this over just like this and have a general idea. Just from a structural standpoint, we have a correction, rally, correction, consolidate, last capitulation. Same thing right now. We have a correction, rally, correction, consolidation, capitulation. Then we sort of see like a mini rally, correction back to its previous low, rally, correction to its previous low. And again, my expectations, consolidate, possibly rally when the DXY decides to correct down. And when the DXY enters a bear market, guess what's going to happen to Bitcoin? It should most likely rally. How long? Again, I think it could probably take a year. Could we make another low? Very, very possible. But just like how Bitcoin ranged in this zone in 2015, 2016, it was like a 35% move up and down for about 300 days. We'll probably be in this range for the next 300 days, ranging 25% to the upside and to the downside. We already, went a couple days in. 300 days would put us around April of 2023. I know that sounds like a long time away, but we just started September, October, November, December. Happy New Year's, and 4 more months later, we should be out. I know it may not seem that way. It may sound like things will get worse, but I do believe that our economy, at least within the US, is stronger than most people are anticipating. I have my own personal thoughts that I could probably make another video on. I personally live in California. Everywhere I go, everywhere I see people, I'm just like, do people know that we're in a technical recession? But it seems like no one really is. I also talk to a lot of my friends and they still have their jobs. No one's getting laid off. They all have money saved up. They're investing regularly, but that's just a small group of people, right? I really don't know how everyone in America is doing or how people are doing in general. So it's one of those things where we're going to have to kind of wait and see. I'm going to dollar cost average in every single day regularly. The second thing I may consider doing is to trade these ranges. You can trade on leverage. You can take advantage of your gains. I would only consider trading leverage on Bitcoin only. The way that I do it is through BitGet. You can check out my link down below. You can get up to a $4,000 bonus. It's one of my favorite exchanges to use just because they are licensed in the US. KYC is optional. You don't need any VPN. But if I use my RSI strategy in the lower time frame, we're talking about the 5-minute time frame. I know that sounds ridiculous. Anytime the RSI dips below 30, you would buy. Anytime we're in this upper range over here, you would sell. The goal is to sell early, not later. These peaks, you don't know when they'll come, so you want to always sell a little bit lower. So since September 3rd, Bitcoin made a 1% move here, another 1% here, 1% here, 0.5, and about 0.3 so far. I'd probably enter into a times 7 to 10x leverage because it's on a shorter time frame. If I was holding it a bit longer, I'd probably just only do a 3 to 5x. But if I'm going to be, day trading like this, you want to use a 10x because a 1% move up is about a 10% gain. Leverage trading is for experienced traders only, so please be very cautious and careful if you decide to do it. The third thing is I may consider opening up a grid trading bot within Pionex. I think this is a great time just because we're kind of in this lower range. So if Bitcoin decides to go up, it'll buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. You get the idea. So if Bitcoin decides to go up, it'll most likely sell into profit and then buy back into the dip. I created a dedicated video already on this explaining it, but it's a great method, I think, if Bitcoin decides to go sideways for the next year or so. On top of that, if Bitcoin does decide to rally up back to the 30 to 40K range, the grid trading bot will take profits along the way, and I will get to write up some unrealized gains as well. Grid trading bot is definitely on the safer end. So I would say like dollar cost averaging is probably the safest. Grid trading bot second, and third is going to be leverage trading. Other than that, that's all I'm looking at within the charts. It's a boring time in the markets. Make sure you guys enjoy life a little bit. There's really nothing to be stressed about, I think. I really think so. It's just going to be super boring for the next couple of days. If anything interesting does happen, awesome. But these are the times people buy assets that are cheap, and that's how they accumulate and grow their wealth in the future. You buy low, sell high, not the other way around. Well, with that said, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down below. Let me know how you are preparing during the season. What are you doing during this bear market? Also, if you're interested in checking out the Patreon group, I'll leave that link down below. That is where I give market updates, what I'm buying, what I'm selling. These days, it's been pretty boring, but usually I share all the information that I shared in this video ahead of time. But if you're still in the markets and you've survived this long, I want to congratulate you. It's not that easy sticking around and persevering through these hard times. You know, most people sell at a loss, exit the markets, never look back, hate stocks, hate crypto, and when crypto markets go back up, they get extremely regretful. Those that stick around during bear markets build thicker skin, know how to persevere, understand how market cycles work. That way, in the next 5, 10, 20 years, when you do experience another bear market, it's just going to be a breeze because you'll remember your first one. If you've never talked to anybody who's experienced a bear market, I definitely encourage you to do so. It'll give you a different perspective on the markets and it'll give you some ease and some peace. I'll see you guys in the next video. Over. Good night, good morning. Adios.